In Agile, there's a concept of making decisions at the last responsible moment. And I really like that, but I think it's worth talking about because I feel like this goal has been corrupted by a lot of different leaders. What making a decision at the last responsible moment means, you don't make decisions at the first instant you could. You delay until no longer making the decision is going to start to cost you something. And the reason why that makes sense in a lot of cases is if you delay that decision making, you have more information, which allows you to make a better, more informed decision. So that makes a lot of sense. And for people who love making decisions really quickly, like me, then that's a nice mantra that allows you to sort of tell yourself that, okay, maybe this decision doesn't need to be made in this instance. Maybe we can wait a little bit, make the decision when other things have come in, and allow that decision making to be more well-informed and make better decisions. But for people who don't like making decisions really easily, I feel like this phrase, making decisions the last responsible moment, has been corrupted into something more like make decisions at the last possible moment. And decisions get delayed and delayed and delayed because there's always more information that could be brought in. You can always wait and see if maybe the decision could be delayed. But that's terrible. The reality is that games are made of thousands of decisions, tens of thousands of decisions. And you need to have a process where decisions are getting made. Because if you're not making decisions, you're not making forward progress. So while some decisions at any moment maybe don't need to be made in this instance, and in fact shouldn't be made in this instance, lots of other decisions do need to be made. So if you are waiting until it is a dire necessity that that decision needs to be made, then you have cost yourself something. You have bred uncertainty on the team. You have allowed the team to lose momentum because they're waiting for a decision to be made, and they're hedging their bets, and they are waiting and trying to work around your lack of decision making. Making decisions at the last responsible moment is good advice, but responsible is the key word in that phrase. This isn't about delaying decision making. It's about allowing decisions to happen at the correct moment, not later than that moment and not earlier than that moment. If you have to pick between one of those, pick early decision making over late decision making, because you are almost always better off with a bad decision made early as opposed to a good decision made too late. This is something that I feel is pervasive in a lot of teams where decision making, or more specifically, a lack of decision making, ends up causing the teams to spin their wheels and not make forward progress because there's always another test that can be done. There's always more data that can be gathered. There's always another opinion to be obtained. And by allowing that, you're allowing inefficiency and you're allowing teams to lose cohesion. Because what will happen is that some parts of your team will start making decisions on their own. And that can be okay, but if they are making decisions that are affecting other teams because you're the one that should have been making that decision, then that's really dangerous, because those decisions that they're making may not actually stand the test of time. And you may have no choice but to override those decisions. And that's potentially the worst possible situation to be in. So you didn't make a decision, so another team below you had to make a decision that you should have made. But because they were isolated from the entire problem set, they made an untenable decision. So now you have to undo that decision. You've reached the point where the decision should have been made a long time ago, and you have to literally undo decisions in order to reach a decision that can be worked with. If you had just made the decision in the first place, when was at the last responsible moment, that decision would have been acceptable. Not the best decision, not a perfect decision, an acceptable decision. And this is ultimately what decision making is about. It's not about perfect decisions. It's not about perfect information. It's about making acceptable decisions in a timely enough manner to allow them to be useful to the team, to allow the team to build up momentum. It's not about adding friction, it's about removing friction. So your job is to make decisions to help the team move forward, or at least enable those decisions to be made. So should you just delay decision making? Sometimes that is the right call. But I think more often than not, this advice, make your decisions at the last responsible moment, is being used as an excuse to not do your job and to allow decisions to go unmade and to allow teams to endure the friction of unmade decisions. So make decisions, make them, stick to them. This is ultimately what games are made of, is tens of thousands of decisions in a pile. A special thanks to my members. They provide the resources that this channel needs to keep running. If you are interested in becoming a member, there will be a link down in the description. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. That will help it spread to more people, and maybe we can solve the problem of decision deficits on video game teams. Make more decisions. If you have decided you want to argue with me on this point, do so down in the comments. We can have a conversation. I will see you again soon. Thank you.